On this episode, we discuss, is OpenAI going to put us out of business?
I'm walking the streets of nowhere. I'm playing the game with no regrets. I'm crawling out from the gutters. Clouding the joker's all you guess.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Deaton Street. I'm Zachary.
And I'm Dustin.
This week, we're going to try to bring just a little bit of order to all this chaos. And instead of kind of rambling on about one topic the whole time, we're going to bring you 3 topics, and we're going to do 15 minutes on each topic. We're going to include chapters in the thing down below. So if you're not interested in something or you want to skip ahead to see, you can do that. But our first topic is actually Sora, which is the name of the new technology coming out from OpenAI. So OpenAI is known for ChatGPT, which has revolutionized the way that people cheat on their homework in universities. And so now OpenAI is introducing, or has, introducing, it's not out yet, but introducing a new text-to-video AI generation. So I guess it's AI technology programming. I'm not really sure what you would call it.
It's
AI model. That's what I'm looking for.
There you go. Models. Yeah.
Right. So they just announced it. They had quite a few different examples of videos that they were able to generate. They're all downloadable on their website. I'm sure that we'll pop in a couple here. And so, as you can see, very, very impressive. Down below, they actually show some of the issues that they're still working out, specifically with hands, just like most AI models, they don't get the hands quite right, and these videos are unfortunately dealing with that. And there's an example that Dustin can pull up and kind of put underneath here of that as we're talking. The thing that I wanted to talk about, and the reason that this really kind of scared me, but also brought me or filled me with a little bit of excitement, is that this is a perfect opportunity for creators like us to use for B-roll. There are so many times when I'm creating a video or doing something else that I can't find exactly what I'm looking for. And this could be an area in which just type it in, pulls it right up. So thoughts, Mallett?
I am on the opposite end of the equation there.
Okay.
I'm much more, I don't want to say it like I'm a purist, but I'm like, I want to get the shot, I want to do it. I did watch a video where this guy basically said it was a good use case of the AI video stuff. And it was, if you want to make a storyboard for a short film or whatever, you can, type in what you want and have it make the storyboard, or like have your different shots and stuff. I would still go after the fact and actually shoot my video, but it's cool to get like a preview to whoever is working on a project with you or whatever. Yeah.
One of the things that it showed on, I think it's actually on their Instagram I was looking at today, is the ability to take a shot that you have, upload that shot to Sora, and then change details. So one of the coolest things I saw is they had a shot of a red car that's just kind of winding through on a road. And some of the prompts that they gave it was make the road a rainbow. And the road underneath it became rainbow. Put some dinosaurs in there. And so not only is it generating new video, it seems like it's going to have the ability to take your video and add in other elements that, to be honest, it's just far out of reach for people like us.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
so I think it'd be amazing to take one of my shots and put a dinosaur in it. And I'm thinking like, what can I do with the cinematic recaps for Texas State? I can do literally anything if it can kind of basically do CG for you.
Yeah. The AI video stuff it looks great. What was it? Marquez Brownlee's video. I watched his, and he was like, he shows a comparison. Look at this. This was a year ago. And we were like, this is just a glimpse into the far off future. Now we're a year ahead, and this is borderline real video. It's just impressive.
I think on that note, the thing that does scare me is the fact that progress is happening this quick, and it's probably going to be much better than Sora in a couple years. And that's where we're getting to the territory of
you won't need creative people anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I find that hard to believe that we're going to get to that point, because one of the things that makes YouTube work and anything work really is creative voices and folks that have an idea and flesh that out. And usually, I mean, a lot of times they use B-roll for that anyway. So they're not really even using stuff that they've shot. And we have a different point of view than most in that we also go shoot B-roll and put it in to our stuff. Whereas a lot of people, or I guess I kind of lean towards, I kind of just use B-roll that I can find online, because the stuff that I want, I can't go shoot,
I do that too. I have several videos that I've went on different stock footage websites and pulled stuff for. But I don't know, I just like being able to shoot everything. I want to have that freedom.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I say freedom. It's not freedom. You got freedom to go look up stock footage anyway. I like just shooting video.
It's control. I mean, shooting yourself is like way more control, right? Like you can get exactly the shot that you want. Yeah. Whereas B-roll, you're always making concessions. It's always like, this is good enough, right?
Yeah. This isn't quite fit, but it'll work. Yeah, I've had that several times.
But with Sora, if it works the way that it looks like it's going to work, you can be extremely specific and get exactly the shot that you want.
Now, with all of that, think of the green screen capabilities.
Yeah.
So, if you need a backdrop or whatever, or you're in a certain setting, you have a green screen, like, again, that is going to be putting like VFX artists and stuff like that, like, out of business to an extent, if they go that route.
I think that is who this is going to affect the most negatively is VFX artists, because we're getting very close to being able to do absolutely anything we want with AI for cheap, quickly. And there's a lot of moral conundrums there, because the way that they're building the system is they're using other folks' work, they're using VFX artists' work, and they're pumping that into the code or the model, and then it's generating based off what it's learned from others. So it definitely does get into that moral gray area when it comes to VFX.
What was it? I haven't fact checked it at all. But a coworker of mine is really into D&D, as we are. But he's been saying, and he's been doing the AI, Midjourney, ChatGPT, like all that stuff, generating images and stuff like that. But I think he said, again, I haven't fact checked it. I don't know how real it is, true it is, whatever. But Hasbro got rid of a lot of their creative team, and supposedly are going to use AI image generation for up and coming D&D books. Now, if that's true, we're going off if that's true.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, why wouldn't they though?
But it's
terrible.
It's awful. It
puts people out of business, but
it's a great business thing to do.
Yeah.
If you want to save your money, well, then yeah, you can basically just rip down an entire franchise because that has lived off of the artwork of the community for so long.
Yeah. And that artwork is so specific and they own all of that IP. So that model, they could just pump all of that IP into that model. And then,
Exactly.
I mean, it probably they could do their own model and it would work almost perfectly, I would imagine.
Yeah. So, and again, don't know how true that is. Thank you, Oliver. Don't know how true that is, but hypothetically, if it were to be true, it's crazy. Crazy to think about.
I think a lot of companies are going to go that way, and there's going to be backlash, as there always is backlash, but I think that they're going to do it anyway because the money just makes so much sense. What I like about that type of thing is that it opens the creative lanes for individuals, like places like YouTube, where you can really flourish as an individual while using kind of the same tools as larger companies.
Well, then that goes into what we were talking about before we started the pod, though. Get the device and learn how to do the thing with the mics that we were talking about.
Yeah, right.
You know, so like it's quite VFX or graphics or design or whatever, any of that stuff. Yes, it is a task, but think about the skill set that you would have if you were to learn how to do that. Now, okay, so might be a moot point because if AI is going to take over anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't pay to have a skill set that's going to be obsolete in the next year or so.
I think where AI is terrible right now, if you play D&D, if you're a DM and if you ever try to use AI to try to help you creatively, it's bad. I think that's where the human element comes in. And that's the same thing that's happening here to kind of argue it. I mean, we're like talking heads argument right now. All right, we're doing the podcast thing. I think the difference is that it levels the playing field as for creators that have a voice that want to tell a story. So if you don't have to go and pitch in front of a large Hollywood company in order to do a documentary this way, because even specifically for my skill set, I never want to learn VFX. And it's also kind of crazy to think that as an individual, I would learn VFX and cinematography and directing and narration and script writing. No one does that.
That's not how the film world works.
It's not.
In general. It's not at all.
But Sora allows me to do all of the stuff I'm not going to learn and focus on the things that, make me creatively work, right?
Yeah.
I have one last question on this before we move on because we're almost to 15 minutes. We're going to try really hard to stick to those 15-minute segments.
Yeah.
How much would you pay for this service? I think ChatGPT Premium is $20 a month.
Yeah. I'd probably pay that, if any. I'd probably pay for a month and then like play with it and then get rid of it. Hopefully, I would like to think of myself to do that. Now, would it be great to use and would it become a tool? I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that would be my plan. That's what I've done with like any of the other AI stuff. It's like, okay, cool, this is fun, and then I don't need it.
I think for me, this is a game changer. I think it's going to be much more than 20. If they're selling $20 a month for ChatGPT, which does not do this, I think you have to double it for Sora. I think that it might be even $50 a month. I think they might even price it something crazy like $100 a month, just because it's such a powerful tool if it works the way that they're saying it works. I'd pay $50 a month for this because
I wouldn't.
Because I am doing video essays.
Yeah.
And there's one of the topics that I thought of that I'm not going to do this year, but I might eventually do is like pyramids. Pyramids fascinate me. They're on tons of continents. When did they happen, right? How is it that different civilizations have done pyramids? They're in China. They're in South America. They're in Egypt. I'm not going to be able to go see the dang pyramids. So I have to get B-roll. right? And some of that I would want to pull in B-roll, but like the inside of a pyramid, it might be cool to direct Sora to be like, take me into a cavern in a pyramid.
Or it's even, you can do like a what if type of scenario. Like, what if on the inside of these pyramids they did it this way, and then you generated that? Or then what if in this area of the world they did it this way, and then you generated that? So I mean, that kind of stuff is cool because like, you know, you don't know Blender, which is a 3D, you know, software rendering software. Like we don't know that. So being able to have that tool to generate that stuff is kind of cool.
What is going to be crazy, and this is the last thing I'll say before we move on to your topic. What's going to be crazy is that you can use ChatGPT to get realistic descriptions of things. So like, give me a hyper realistic description of the pyramid of you know, one of the, I guess, Giza or guys or whatever. You can take that, hypothetically, you can just throw it to Sora and it's like, generate this. And it should, if it works right, it should look decent. And I can't go to Egypt on my budget. I can barely go to Austin. Ain't happening. You know? So
hey, but we could go on Deaton Street's budget.
Buddy, we're
in
losing
50 years.
Right now, Deaton Street's budget is negative. We are losing money on this.
we got nothing.
So I think we're paying it's negative $30 a month for Riverside.
Right.
Anyways, so that's Sora.
Yeah. Do you find yourself craving something sweet, cold, and made of the softest snow you've ever seen in your life? Well, you're in luck, because us here on Deaton Street know of the best place to go. Snowbees Express, located in Jennings, Louisiana, is the #1 spot to stop for all of your snow cone, soft serve ice cream, and soda on shaved ice needs. They're open year-round because here in Louisiana, we sometimes only get 1 week of cold winter days per year. So come on down to the Red Train Caboose. Yes, you heard that right, a literal caboose, located in Jennings, Louisiana, 420 Roberts Avenue. Currently, they're open 1 to 5, Monday through Saturday. You can find them on Facebook as well to book a party. Just search Snowbees Express and reach out. That's SNOB' Express. So on kind of not really the topic of AI, but kind of the AI topic, my beautiful segment I found is the new Insta 360 camera. It's an action cam. It is the AVE Pro. Let me see. I sat at lunch and actually typed some stuff out.
Okay, nice.
So, AV. No, I'm sorry. It's the Insta360 Ace Pro. And so, essentially, I'm not an expert on action cameras. I don't have an action camera. I've always wanted to get an action camera. You have the Insta360, the
X3,
360 cam, the X3. So, you have an action cam, whatever. That camera just came out. The GoPro 12, the Hero 12 or whatever. That one, I would assume just came out or kind of came out a little while back or whatever. That's kind of the, the competitor there. Again, I'm not an expert on either camera, but I've been wanting to get an action camera. I've already said that. I'm just reading off my stuff, like a professional podcaster person. So this is kind of a look from the outside, trying to, purchase an action camera if I were to get one. Let's see. So just looking on the surface of the two. So that's the Insta360 Ace Pro and then the GoPro 12. I look in an action camera, the build, reputation, and a little bit of the specs, right? I'm not really digging too far into it like I would one of the Canons or Sonys or one of our mirrorless cameras. Both of them have the same shape, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to drop, each camera in. The Insta360, though, has a flippy camera. A flippy screen, a flip screen. It goes
up?
And then it goes up. It goes up onto the top of the camera. So if you're looking at if you're holding the camera here, right, it goes this is a terrible, whatever. It
Right.
flips up. You'll see a picture.
Right.
The GoPro has the screen on the front and on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's one aspect. That was kind of the build for me. Let's see. See, I'm like riffing off of this, so like I'm all over the place, and like I have in here. Zach has an Insta360. I said that 5 seconds ago.
What's the price? What's the price difference of the two?
It's about $100. The Ace Pro is $100 more expensive. So
the Insta360 is more expensive than the GoPro.
The GoPro. Yeah.
Oh.
There is an Ace, a normal Ace that I saw that's like slightly more expensive, like by like $10 margin.
I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have guessed that Insta360 or
exactly
that they would have gone lower in price because they don't have the name, right?
Exactly. Now, there's a few things that might bump up the price. Insta360's cam, 8K.
Okay.
It's got 8K video. The lens that's on it is a Leica lens. And for all you camera nerds that probably aren't watching, Leica is a very expensive camera company that puts out fantastic cameras. I would love to have one. I do not have $7,000. But it has a Leica lens, which I thought was kind of neat. So it's 8K for the Insta360, 5.6K on the GoPro. The low light performance was another thing that I noticed. Low light being better on the Insta360 rather than the GoPro. There's a couple of things that the GoPro has that I would love to be on the Insta360. The GoPro has 10-bit recording. Insta360 only has 8. Okay.
Whoa.
The GoPro can do log.
Insta360
can't.
What?
Yep.
Are you? Oh, I mean, I have log on my Insta360 though. I don't know. I'm. Is it? I don't know if it's 8-bit or 10-bit, but I know I have log on my Insta. The X3 does.
You know, I don't know. I could be wrong. Yeah. I could be very wrong. I did look at maybe 3 sources.
Yeah.
For a lot of this, and I don't know that it's out yet.
Right.
But I mean, you got all your guys that are reviewing it on YouTube and stuff like that. So take into account the build factor with the flippy screen versus just the front and back screen, 8K versus 5.6K, the low light performance, log footage, the bit rate recording. Like, which one would you go with?
That's so. I guess for me, 10 bit's a big deal. The difference between 8-bit, especially if you're using log, the difference between 8-bit and 10-bit is huge. There's a lot of space as far as changing. You have a lot of room to change the color, the exposure with 10-bit. 8-bit, you still have that, but it's not as like, even if it had log and 8-bit, it's not really worth log at that point. If it's cheaper though, if it's cheaper for an action camera, I'm probably going to go with GoPro. Just because I know I've seen GoPros for forever, right? And if it's just a one-way camera, as far as it's not a 360 like I have, I'd probably go with the cheaper, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think the interesting thing though is with action cameras, you have to have a why in there to me to have an action camera. Like my why for my action camera is very simple. I wanted to be able to pop a small camera on the top of my mirrorless so that I could get some behind the scenes stuff and maybe some wide angle stuff for football. Right. And then maybe take some shots that you really can't get with a large camera.
Yeah.
For this, you have to think they're probably marketing to different people. They're probably marketing to like sports enthusiast type folks.
Yeah.
Right?
You're going to go ride your bike. You're going to go do whatever. You're going to strap it and all this other stuff.
Do those people care about 8K versus 5.6?
Exactly.
I mean, do they? I mean, some of them might.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I don't know.
Have you seen have you seen a difference between 8K and 5.6?
I watched a video today where this guy compared 3 of them. So it was the Insta360, the GoPro, and then the DJI,
Mm-hmm.
which was like the equivalent one. And from the footage that he had, I mean, the better all around was the Insta360.
Yeah.
Like it was like best of both worlds kind of thing. Low light, all midday sunshine, and another thing, and this kind of circles back to the AI, why I mentioned it. It's got an AI chip in the Insta360, which helps with a lot of the different processing for like image quality and stuff like that. I think the GoPro, he showed an example where he zoomed in, like there's like a 2 times zoom
Mhm.
function, and it's a digital zoom. It's not like an actual manual zoom. But you lose the 4K. It crops in and it loses
Mhm.
quality on the other two. The Insta360, it keeps it. It keeps it the whole way,
Is
which
it
is cool.
keeping quality because of AI upsampling, or is it keeping
See,
quality because it's cropping in on a sensor that's an 8K sensor?
and that's what I'm not sure of either.
Yeah.
Like he didn't really explain it in the video. I didn't look too far into it. The fact that it didn't lose quality was, I mean, that was good enough for me. Um, I I think that I would probably go with the Insta360 for 2 reasons: low light performance and the flippy screen,
Mm.
the flip up screen. The only reason the flip up screen is that way, if I wanted to, I can have the camera at a low angle, flip the screen horizontally, and look down at it, right?
Right.
Rather than not being able to see anything. Uh, the guy's video I watched, he did say that there is, and he had one. It was like a little, the Insta360. You can pair it with your watch and like actually see the video. I think you can see the video on your watch, or maybe control it, like hit record and stuff like that, or your
Mhm.
Apple Watch, a smartwatch. But they also had another device that I'm assuming is an additive, an add-on, purchase,
Mhm.
but it is like a watch size, and it's a little monitor that you can use. If you had the camera off and wherever land, it's a wireless monitor, which is kind of cool. Um, Again, I am no expert on action cameras. I thought it was neat that the Insta360 I was impressed with. Um, because of the 360 camera. So again, this is the reputation of it. The 360 cam that you have is fantastic.
It is. Right.
So, and I'm like, that's that's reputable. The same thing kind of with the DJI. I have a drone, a DJI drone,
Mhm.
the Mavic 3, whatever. Um, I would probably go. Like all 3 of them are a great choice because of their reputation as well. GoPro's been around forever. DJI, I know how their stuff works. Insta360, I've seen examples of their stuff. You have it. I've seen your stuff. Like, I don't know. It's use case.
And I think really the thing that it's tough for me on or like action cams, and I just looked it up. So sorry if I was scrolling.
Oh,
So
you're
the
good. You're good.
Insta360 Ace Pro, it looks like it's $449.
Yep.
Does that sound right? And then what's the
It's like
new?
$449 or maybe $499 or
I
whatever.
don't want to see
The
what is
GoPro
the
is like $399.
GoPro Hero. I mean,
12.
is it 12? Is that what we're up
Yep.
to?
12.
So it says GoPro Hero 12 Black is $349. Yeah. But
Yeah.
but they're all huh. I wonder if GoPro's about to I wonder if they're about to announce a new one.
Probably.
I bet it's like $449. I bet it's like right at their price point.
Yeah.
I think the thing with action cameras is that it's gonna be based on what the person already has or what the
Mhm.
person's used to, because I really don't think there's gonna be that much of a difference for the normal creator, right?
Yeah.
Like I've seen Potato Jet take the Insta360 and do some really cool things with log shooting and doing automatic or manual exposure and ice, all that other
Yeah.
stuff. I honestly don't do that. For me, it's a tool that is a complement to my tool that I care about the most, which is my FX30.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that if I was just a normal person or if I was a skateboarder or a mountain
Mm-hmm.
climber or something like that, I'd buy the GoPro right now because all of that other stuff I wouldn't know about.
Yeah.
What 8K, 6.6K, what does that even mean to the normal
Yeah.
person,
An action cam, like you're not going to be sitting there adjusting settings in action,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So literally I need this to turn on and to record.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly that.
So what are we at with the 15? Because I have a couple of other things, or is it?
Yeah, I think we have a couple more minutes. Yeah.
The other two really cool features that I saw was a pause recording and a cancel recording. So you can, let's say you're waiting for a shot or whatever, and you
Mhm.
have it recording, but that shot doesn't happen whenever you think it's going to happen. Well, you can pause it and essentially it'll record that same file. So it's not a separate recorded file.
Right.
So I was like, that's kind of cool. And at the same time, you're waiting for the shot that never happens.
Right.
Well, just you can cancel the recording and it'll delete it. You don't have to worry about going through and, finding that recording and deleting it. Another thing that the AI kind of does, it'll take like one of your longer video clips and then like select things that it thinks that you might want. So instead of exporting this big old file of just going, it'll say, oh, at 3 minutes and 5 minutes and 10 minutes, you had these 3 little segments that look pretty good. You might want these. Do you want to export these clips instead of the 20-minute long thing? So I thought that was cool.
That's huge if it works right. If that works right, that might be the thing that would push me over.
Exactly.
If I'm a snowboarder. If I'm a snowboarder, I'm like, I'm going to go snowboard for, 3 hours. I don't know how they do that, how long they do it. But if they're going to do that, and it'll tell you like, hey, like an hour in, this thing happened. This interest, you talked or whatever. I might shell out the extra $100 for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's got that little bit of extra functionality that I think would be pretty convenient. Sounds cool if it works properly. But
yeah, a lot of that stuff, the thing that scares me about tech in general is that so many things are gimmicks. So many things are just gimmicks. And it's hard to parse through what are the things that will actually change your workflow and what are the things that are just gimmicks that are marketing and are kind of cool, but then in the end, don't actually amount to much.
Yeah. Well, that's all I had for that. I mean, but speaking of gimmicks.
On the topic of gimmicks, we're going to revisit. So this last 15 minutes, we're going to revisit the Apple Vision Pro, specifically a report that I read this week that I can probably maybe link in the description. I'll send it to you. We'll see if I can actually find it. Again, it's a report that Apple is seeing folks return their Apple Vision Pros. And I really, we talked about it a little bit in that first episode when it came out about, we were kind of searching and struggling to find a reason that this piece of tech exists. And I think that a lot of it is pretty gimmicky. It's essentially a underpowered MacBook Pro or I guess MacBook Air probably is really what it is, that you wear on your face. I recently actually sold my MacBook Pro or traded in my MacBook Pro to Best Buy and then got a Oculus Quest, or I guess not Oculus, Meta Quest 3. I still have my 2, but I upgraded to the 3. And I'll tell you, I don't understand why anyone would buy the Apple Vision Pro. I don't get it. The Meta Quest 3 has amazing pass-through. It is a great game, or a great platform to play games. the controllers are actually way more. They make a lot more sense. I guess they fit better in
Wait.
your hands than the last one before. They don't have that weird ring around it.
Backtrack 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There are controllers.
There are controllers
Done.
to play games. There are games that you can play.
There are games. There are controllers. Exactly.
There are things that Apple has done with the Apple Vision Pro that I think is going to change the VR industry, the space. I think that they're making it a little bit cooler. They're marketing it very well. But I don't need to pull up 3 screens, even if they're amazing screens. I have right now, I'm looking at 3 screens that I can work on. And I just sold my MacBook Pro, so I guess I don't need 3 screens anywhere else either. I think I'm just fine with my iPad.
Yeah.
So I know that you've had experiences with a Meta Quest 3. Neither one of us has tried a Apple Vision Pro. What are your thoughts, having kind of seen that piece of tech?
Yeah, I don't know that I would ever get the Vision Pro or whatever. Simple fact is it costs an astronomical amount of money for what it is.
Yeah.
After watching a lot of stuff on the Vision Pro and realizing like exactly how gimmicky it is, and like you said, it's basically like a face MacBook Air.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to like try and put forth money towards that whenever I can just go and get Meta Quest 3 for a fraction of the price.
A steal. $500 for the Meta Quest 3 feels like a steal.
Yeah.
It didn't when it came out, but seeing what the Apple Vision Pro can do, and then seeing what the Meta can do, it's kind of a steal. I think that the Quest Pro was probably a little bit of a cash grab and didn't make much sense.
It was. My boss is all into VR. I will be highly surprised if he doesn't get one of the Vision Pros, just because he loves all that stuff. And he just recently got an Apple, like an iPhone, because he was super Android. It was hilarious. But I would see him getting the Vision Pro and then returning it. To try it out, because that's what he got with the Meta whatever Pro version it was.
Right.
He got it, and then the next day I was like, "So how was it?" "Bro, it's trash." And I'm like, "Oh, this isn't good. I was expecting you to bring it so that way I can play with it." "Nah, I'm sending that back. It's garbage."
Wow. So so I've heard essentially what I've heard about the Quest Pro or whatever it is the same kind of thing that I'm hearing about Apple Vision Pro. It costs a ton. It's not that big of an upgrade. I also think that they didn't have enough blocking, like light blocking on the sides, which can be very distracting in VR.
Yeah, you had a lot of light bleed from underneath and everywhere else.
Right.
Even with the guards that you could put on to block out more light, it still let in a bunch.
Right. So with one of the things that I do with the Quest Pro is I've done the VR thing with the pass through where you go and like I've cooked myself some lunch. I did some tacos with the Quest Pro on. I did some dishes with the Quest Pro on. Quest 3.
Quest 3. Yeah.
The thing that you can do with it though is you can actually take off the face mask part. And you get the same thing where light is bleeding through, but it's easier to look down at your actual hands. Like if
I got you.
So, but you look up and you're seeing your space around you and a big screen. You look down and you have your actual hands where you're cooking and chopping things up. It's really, really nice for that. The thing about VR and the thing about the Apple Vision Pro that the reason it doesn't work, the reason it's not going to catch on yet is that it's very isolating. VR in itself is still extremely isolating. When I'm playing VR in my room and my wife comes in, even though I can see her, I am isolated from the real world.
Yep.
Apple Vision Pro makes that so much worse, and it doesn't solve any of those issues. Which that for me, spending $3,500 to see the world through camera lenses.
Yeah, no, thank you.
It's not
I
for
already
me.
do that enough.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, at least ours was super clear and some nice cameras we got, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's really all I got on that topic. We
Yeah.
can end it a little early here. Any closing remarks? Anything? You were telling me before the recording started that you might be doing a little wedding job in September. I don't know
That's
if you are. Yeah,
spoilers. Spoilers for the rest of the year.
It's my bad.
Yeah, no, that's one of the month's ideas.
Oh, you're gonna do the video of the okay. Yeah.
I will use a lot of it's going to be because I mean it's a side quest.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna use a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Nice.
Or try to. That's my plan.
I think that'll be cool.
And that's another reason kind of why I said yes to do it, because I don't do weddings.
Yeah.
You know.
We were talking before, and I told you it just scares me.
Oh, it's
It
terrifying.
scares me
dude.
so much.
It's terrifying. But with video, that's where the money's at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, but you gotta live in a bigger city than mine to do real estate stuff.
Yeah.
I've done real estate before. It's tight.
The big money's on YouTube.
Yes.
Eventually.
And that's why we're here. No. That's why we're doing Deaton Street. No.
Speaking of YouTube, appreciate you listening. Hopefully you made it this far. Hopefully you liked the new format. We're going to be testing it out. Let us know in the comments below if you like the new format or if you like us just kind of talking about anything we want, pulling things out of the air like we were doing before.
Yeah.
Shoot that in the comments. Please like, please subscribe. Think we did it. Think we're good.
I think we might have did the dang thing.
Love ya. Uh-oh. Did I lose you? Oh, no. All right. Well, now that he's gone, now that his internet has dropped out, I want to tell you about the real... Oh, you're back? See you guys. Love ya.
See ya.